China's tech economy got a lot of attention from Gen Z Zoomers early in 2020 after US President Trump threatened to ban breakout app TikTok, especially popular with the post-Snapchat generation of social media savants, due to the short-form video-sharing app being controlled by Beijing-based big tech company ByteDance. Though nothing ultimately came from the situation, ByteDance did gain a national profile in America for the president's grievances against it. Now ByteDance has some grievances of its own, filing a lawsuit through one of its subsidiaries and sister company to TikTok, Douyin, alleging its rival Tencent was using market dominance and a strategy of suppression and content blocking to edge rivals out of the markets. It seems that the giants of China's tech marketplace are turning to fight each other. Tencent is a Shenzhen-based firm that runs messaging apps WeChat and QQ. The current lawsuit revolves around Tencent's decision to block Douyin content from being shared through WeChat and QQ, which apparently have nearly full market dominance of texting-style apps within mainland China. At its core, the lawsuit alleges that Tencent has obtained a monopoly through various anti-competitive practices. This would be like Facebook or Twitter blocking users from sharing TikToks in the US. Since WeChat and QQ are nearly exclusively used for communication in Douyin's target market, the two apps blocking its content are potentially devastating for the TikTok clone. Douyin says it is vital for competitive markets' integrity that the case be decided in their favor. Tencent isn't taking this confrontation lying down either. Apparently deciding to fight fire with fire, Tencent's subsidiary WeChat is planning to sue Douyin for privacy breaches, alleging the app was blocked because it was accessing and stealing users' data illegally. WeChat says the charges against Tencent are a distraction tactic by Douyin to obscure their own wrongdoing. This fight isn't new. The social media giants have been at each other's throats since at least 2018. The long series of court cases, accusations, and company-level fighting earning the nickname Two Tang Big Fight. The nickname is a mashup of ByteDance's Tutao, a flagship news app involved in the earlier controversies, and Tencent's untranslated Chinese name Tangshan. The play on words is a small trivialization of a pattern of the two biggest social media companies in China locked in a constant broiling conflict with each other. This time, though, the Two Tang Big Fight may have significant ramifications and lasting effects for the loser. ByteDance is the owner of TikTok, which needs no introduction at this point, and Douyin, which is more or less a clone of TikTok for the Chinese market. Tencent is the owner of QQ, a mobile and desktop messaging app with attached social media aspects, and WeChat, the hands-down most popular instant messaging service for Mandarin speakers around the world. According to the most recent statistics, WeChat nets a jaw-dropping 1.2 billion active users per month. Its sister service, QQ, counts an also impressive 700 million active monthly users. Douyin prefers not to release a monthly number, instead publishing an average daily user count of 600 million users per day. TikTok, of course, dwarfs this at 1.1 billion monthly users, nearly catching up with the far older and theoretically better established WeChat. Together, ByteDance and Tencent make up the vast majority of social media spaces within China, itself one of the most densely populated countries on the globe. If antitrust measures are to be levied against one or both of these companies, it would have unknowable effects of the future of Chinese social media, perhaps clearing the way for a new platform to rise. This scenario may be less far-fetched than it sounds. The latest battle in the Two Tang Big Fight comes at a time of wider shakeups and reorganization in the Chinese internet space. The Chinese government has recently updated their antitrust laws, bringing the decades-old regulatory standards up to date to compensate for the rapidly changing internet business landscape. Designed to prevent internet monopolies, these new regulations have already caused the downfall of an online finance company, Ant Group, comparable to the US company PayPal. All public finance options were pulled from Ant Group as a result of anti-competitive practices, and the company has been in a slow spiral of decline ever since. Ant Group's parent company, Alibaba, founded by the charismatic business magnate and one of the richest people on earth, Jack Ma, is currently under a similar investigation by Chinese antitrust regulatory officials. It appears possible that this latest series of dueling lawsuits from ByteDance's Douyin and Tencent's WeChat are attempts to bring down the new anti-monopoly legislation on the respective rival company, causing a similar collapse like that of Ant Group. In short, if government regulators get involved in these newest lawsuits, this may well be the final round in the two-tang big fight and the final days for one or possibly even both of the combative social media giants. Recent moves by both social media corporations could be seen as preparations for the worst-case scenario. ByteDance is reportedly looking into trading Douyin on the New York Stock Exchange as a tertiary market after the Beijing and Hong Kong markets. This could be a simple expansion taking advantage of what ByteDance reportedly sees as an easing in China-US financial relations due to the election of Joe Biden, according to the South China Morning Post. However, we feel it more likely that this diversification, coming right before WeChat launches a lawsuit against Douyin, is a defensive move, looking to foreign markets and excitement over a new investing opportunity to help them weather what may be a rocky few years ahead, mired in investigations and antitrust measures. Tencent has recently received its own bit of good news from the US, namely that the new presidential administration looks to be canceling or at least putting a hold on the ban of the WeChat app from operating in the US. The former administration had begun the process of banning the app as part of the proposed trade war with China, which had been accelerating with a series of new trade deals before the COVID-19 pandemic drew attention away from affairs of the international economy. This means, at least for a time, Tencent can continue operating in the US, a large advantage in diversity over Douyin, which is exclusive to Chinese markets. To look at the larger picture, though, things seem to be stacking up against Tencent. Recent allegations from California claim the WeChat app is censoring and spying on them, sending information on select users to the Communist Party of China. A recent GM complaint alleges much the same, the newly established General Motors base within China complaining of being spied on by Tencent. They are co-plaintiffs in the case with a smart car manufacturer, Pateo, which has a history of tense legal battles with Tencent, much like that of ByteDance's Big Fight. Similarly, Tencent has recently picked a fight with Huawei, the Chinese phone manufacturer and app developer, over the breakaway success mobile game Honor of Kings. This spat came from a power play initiated by Tencent trying to force Huawei to agree to new, restrictive terms. Instead of agreeing, Huawei opted to let a large portion of its high-revenue mobile games, including Honor of Kings, go down, potentially for good. Previously, because of the data Tencent mishandled finding its way to government officials in China, it had been assumed by many of those fighting Tencent that the social media giant had the unofficial backing of the Communist Party, therefore was more or less immune to any severe consequences, but recent events show that support may just be fading. In February of 2021, an unnamed but high-ranking senior Tencent official was taken into custody on charges of corruption, having allegedly sold illegally obtained WeChat user data to unknown third parties. The facts are currently very sparse, and it's a very new story, on top of all the other challenges of reporting on a story in an authoritarian country with restrictive media laws, but it looks as though Tencent may have gotten cocky, deciding to sell data to someone other than the Communist Party. Depending on how deep this goes, this could possibly spell the end of Tencent and its digital media empire. As the restructuring of antitrust laws and the fall of Ant Group shows, China is getting serious about taking down internet monopolies. Tencent, which has gotten used to its role as a state-backed bull in a China shop, free to pick fights and change agreements at a moment's notice, seems to be having a particularly hard time adapting to the new laws and waning favor from the Communist Party. With powerful enemies like ByteDance, Huawei, and General Motors at the gates, Tencent may very well have gone too far, too fast this time.